All right, good evening and welcome once again to Extra Mile Strategy Case Study. Here we do extra things as far as strategic case study is concerned. All right, so today we are continuing with our previous discussion on competitive strategy and strategy development methods. Now, you notice that in our previous discussion, we said Michael Porter, who has been a very good friend from the beginning of this strategic case study course, provided us with a framework which entities or organizations or companies can employ in order to gain competitive advantage over their competitors within an industry. And so he proposed what? The Porter's generic strategies. Now, by way of recap, remember that we said the Porter's generic strategy, Michael Porter proposed what? Three strategies that, according to him, entities can employ in order to gain competitive advantage over their competitors. Now, the first strategy that he explored is what we call cost leadership. And we explain cost leadership as what? Being the leading cost producer in the market or in the industry. So we said that there are a lot of entities doing the same thing. But for you, if your strategy is cost leadership, for you, you will be that entity which produces at the lowest cost. At what? The lowest cost. And because you produce at the lowest cost, you're able to sell at what? The lowest what? Price. And for that matter, in our part of the world, once the price is low, you have a lot of people what? Buying from you, making you gain what? A high market share. So you notice that because of your strategy of cost leadership, now you have gained competitive advantage over your competitors who are not what? The leading cost producers in the industry or in the markets. And we explored with examples and all of that. All right. So the second strategy that Michael Porter proposed is what we call the differentiation strategy. The differentiation strategy. What is the differentiation strategy? This is that strategy where if you are employing as an entity, that means you are going to provide a unique value proposition to the customers that will make you gain superiority over your what? Competitors. And I remember we explored the example like an iPhone. You notice that there are a lot of companies in the industry producing what? Mobile phone. But then Apple is providing some uniqueness in their products. We mentioned their camera. You notice that a lot of companies are producing phones which have cameras, but there's some uniqueness in the camera that Apple is producing. We also talked about Apple's internet connectivity. It is fast. The speed is massive. That is the uniqueness that Apple has incorporated in their production of their products. And for that matter, because of this uniqueness, they are able to sell their product at a higher price. And people are willing to what? Buy it. And people are willing to buy iPhone even though the price is high. Yes, people are willing to buy it. So that is what differentiation, providing a unique value proposition such that customers are willing to buy the product even though it is at what? A higher price. Now, according to Michael Porter, that is also a strategy that you would be able to employ as an entity to gain competitive advantage over your competitor. And you can all attest to the fact that Apple has got some good market share. People return to Apple and they don't want to come back to Android. It is well. All right. Now, the third strategy that Michael Porter also proposed is what we call the niche strategy. The niche strategy. Remember, we have explained markets and the various types of markets and all of that. So you know what niche is. All right. So niche strategy. This is the strategy where the entity focus on a particular segment of the market. So you look at the segment of the market that is underserved or not serving at all or neglected, and then you what? You serve them. So you notice that in the last diet, in the March 2026 diet, the case of Paynova, what was the mission of Paynova? Paynova's mission was to what? Provide or financial solutions to what? The underserved population. So Paynova noticed that there are a group of people within the Ghanaian economy that they are not served by the traditional banking sector. So they are what? Underserved. And so Paynova provided products and services that was going to what? Service or solve, provide services to what? These underserved segments within the market. So that strategy was what? A niche strategy that Paynova employed to go and what? Serve what? The underserved population within the Ghanaian economy. That is a niche strategy. Remember in our class, I mentioned people target people with prostate cancer or breast cancer or high blood pressure, and then they provide a medicine for them. And you notice that that medicine is expensive because the people were not being served, and then now they are going in to serve them because you are going in, you are going to produce a unique product, a tailored product to meet their need. You are able to what? Price it high. That is also what? A strategy that entities could employ to gain competitive advantage over their competitors, according to Michael Porter. So then is that from there we moved on to what? The six principles of strategic positioning. We also went to what? The market terminologies, where we defined market target, market niche, a leader, a challenger. We discussed all of that. We also looked at product positioning. When do we say someone is number one in the market? Mm? And then if you are number one, what are the advantages? If you are the number one, what are the disadvantages? We also looked at what being number two. What does it mean to be a number two in the market? We looked at all of those discussions. And then we went on to discuss the locking strategy, the various locking strategies. We discussed hyper competition, and then the strategies that you can employ in a hyper competitive market. You notice that Paynova, for instance, they were in a hyper competition market. I mean, there are a lot of competitors, and then the switching cost was low. So it was a hyper competitive market. So if you find yourself in such a market, what are the strategies you can employ? We discussed all of that thoroughly. All right. And so today we are coming to another strategy. I told you that strategic case study is a lot of frameworks and models. What you need to do is to get a deeper understanding of each of the frameworks and models and get the what people call tricks. But in strategic, I will call it the tactics that you'll be able to get or grasp all of these numerous frameworks at your fingertips so that when it comes, you're able to work around it with ease. All right, so today we are going to look at another framework or strategy which was developed by Bowman. Bowman. Now, Bowman is saying that, oh, there are not only three strategies that entities can employ in order to gain competitive advantage over their competitors, as Michael Porter proposed. Bowman is saying that there are other strategies that entities can employ in order to gain competitive advantage over their competitors. And so that will introduce us to what? The Bowman strategic clock. So he called it what? The Bowman strategic clock. Now, what is this Bowman strategic clock all about? Now, I am going to teach you how to draw it, how to plot it, and how to explain it. All right. So first of all, what is this Bowman strategic clock all about? Now, it was developed by Bowman in 1996 as a way of looking at the combination of price and perceived benefit, value, or quality of a product that can be served to what? Customers. So Bowman strategic clock is saying that The strategic clause uses two key factors or two key indicators that when you combined, you can develop a particular strategy. The first one is price. It's saying that the strategic clause is saying that what price and what level of quality or perceived quality or benefit or value can you serve to the market? They're saying that for every price and every quality that you choose, it can help you as an entity to gain some competitive advantage over your competitors. What is Bowman basically saying? Bowman is saying that Bowman strategic colloque says that it discusses or explores the combination of price and perceived quality, value, or benefit that can be what served to customers. All right. So he developed this Bowman strategic clock, as you can see in the diagram. Now the diagram has got 8 points, 8 points starting from the side, which is called what the no field. Now Bowman said what from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, these are strategies that when you employ as an entity, you will gain competitive advantage over your competitors. Bowman said what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These strategies, these 5 strategies, if you employ them, they are various combinations of price and perceived quality, benefit, or value that when you employ them as a strategic manager, which we are all growing into becoming, it will help us to gain competitive advantage over our competitors. Now, he continued to say that these three, 6, 7, 8, these three, they are called what? Strategies that will fail. Michael Bowman is saying that if you are an entity or a manager and then you employ these 3 strategies, in the short run, you may chalk some successes. You may smile in the short run, but in the long run, you will fail. So they are called what? Strategies that will fail. Strategies that will fail. All right. So let's get into learning how to draw it. Then we come back onto this very page and then we'll discuss uh, the various points quickly. All right. So just a moment. Right. So, like I said, we are going to learn how to draw the diagram because it is possible that when it comes to the exams, you may have to draw. We're going to learn how to draw it and then we'll pick it up from there. Now, don't think of this so scary. Don't see that this is so scary. It is very simple. It is very simple. Those of you who know five dummy, five dummy, it's very simple. It just look like a dummy or a clock. Just a dummy or a clock. So we are going to draw it. Now we first of all have to draw our y-axis and x-axis. So let's draw our y-axis first. So our y-axis, good. Now onto our x-axis, right, good. Right, now that we have our y-axis and then our x-axis, it is ideal that we name them now. And so our y-axis is called the perceived quality. Pardon my handwriting. Benefit or value. All right. And then our x-axis is what? Price. Remember we said what? The Bowman strategic clause discusses the combination of price and perceived benefit, quality, or value that can be what? Sold to a customer. Right. Now that we have this, now let's draw our five dummy. For those who know five dummy, let's draw our five dummy. For those who do not know five dummy too, let's draw our clock, our clock, our clock. Now we are going to draw our 7 o'clock, 2 o'clock bar. So 7 o'clock, 2 o'clock bar. Okay, or 1 o'clock or whatever. Then after which we will draw our 11 o'clock, 5 o'clock bar as well. Our 11 o'clock, 5 o'clock bar as well. Then we'll draw our 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock bar. Okay. 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock bar as well. That will be here. 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock bar. Okay. Neatly drawn. Oh, I need to shift it a little bit. Good. Then we draw our 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock bar. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock bar. You see, it is very simple. That's why I don't want you to think of it as something scary. It is very simple. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock bar. This is my 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Hey, no, so I need to push it up a little bit. Okay. And then I push it here. Okay, let me push it. Okay, no. Wait. Good. Like this. Good. Good. So that is our clock. And so we'll go ahead and do what? Name it. So our one starts from here. This is one. Oh, no, this. So our one starts from here. One, which is called no fail. No fails. Then our two is here called low cost. Low cost. Point three. This is called hybrid. Hybrid. All right. Now, number four here is called differentiation. Differentiation. And point five here is called focused differentiation. Right. Now, these ones, 0.6, 7, and 8 here, they are those strategies that Bowman said they are what? Strategies that will fail in the long run. All right. Now we've drawn our diagram neatly. Let's try and name them. Okay, plot them. So if you are explaining, let's see, stand at the tip here. Okay. Then you plot it down to the x-axis, the price. Then you plot it to the y-axis, the perceived benefit or quality as well. So what can you see? You notice that for the no frills, they are producing the output, and then the output, the perceived quality is what? Below average. You notice that this point here is average quality. This point here, the point two here, the 9 o'clock bar is what? Average quality. So anything below here is what? Below average quality. And you see they are producing here. So it is what? Below average. Below average. So no frills. That means that your combination is that you are going to produce a below average quality product, and then you sell it at what? A below average price. You notice that for the price too, this is the average price. So anything below here is what? A below average price. Good. So they are producing a below average product and selling at what? A below average price. Bowman is saying that if you are an entity, you can employ this strategy and you will succeed. Why is he saying that you will succeed? You will succeed because there are certain consumers who are low income people. So you go to my village, for instance. My village, we are low income earners. Only that me, I am not there. But those there, it's a fishing community. So if you are producing a particular product in Accra and you go to my village, for instance, you can't go and sell that same product with the same quality in my village. They will not buy. So Bowman is saying that when you go to my village, for instance, produce a product which is what? Below the same product, but produce it at what? A below average quality, and then sell it also at what? A below average price. Now, when you do this, Bowman is saying that you will what? Gain competitive advantage over your competitors. And it is true. If a competitor also go to my village, and then the person doesn't produce it below average quality, and then the person is selling it at average price, average quality, you have gained competitive advantage over what? That competitor. And that is what? The no frills. So it works best for what? Low income what? Countries. I understand that. I don't know how true this is, but I understand that in China they produce some products that are what? Below average quality, and they are selling it also at what? Below average products. Someone is saying in the comment section that the Togo jeans. Yes, perhaps I don't know, but perhaps the Togo jeans. You see, yes, you see Louis Vuitton proper, but then it is what? A Louis Vuitton that is produced at what? A below average quality, and they are selling also at what? A below average price. Why? Because perhaps they are bringing it to Africa or Ghana. That was just by the way. Now let's move on to the second point. Second point on the clock, which is called what? The low cost. The low cost. So let's plot it. Let's plot low cost. Let's plot it. Okay. We are plotting first onto the x-axis. So stand here. Okay, you stand on the edge of it. Then you plot. All right, let's plot. It looks like they are also selling at what? An average, sorry, a below average price. And the quality is what? Average quality. Interesting. You can see that. So you see the low cost. Now, this low cost is what Michael Porter described as what um, um, lowest cost producer, low cost producer, right? Michael Porter. Yes, cost leadership. Good, good, good. That's the right word. Cost leadership. So this low cost is what Michael Porter said. It is what cost leadership. Why is it cost leadership? You notice that they are producing at what average quality. That average quality means majority of the competitors are all producing at that same quality, but they are able to sell at what a below average price. You see, below average price. See their price below average, but the quality is what average quality. So this is proper what cost leadership. So you notice that they are producing a particular product which is at what an average quality or benefit or value, but they are selling it at what a below average. Now this happens when the producer or the entity is producing in large quantity, and so they are enjoying what economies of scale. Perhaps they have a larger product or service portfolio. So they are also enjoying what? Economies of scale. And so as a result of and they are also efficient. Efficient. They are not wasting time, labor hours, they are not wasting materials as well. So they are more very what efficient in their operations. And so they're able to produce what at an average quality, perceived quality, but then sell it at what? A below average price. A below average price. And Michael Porter is saying, I mean, look at it. So if all your competitors are all selling at producing the same average quality product, but they are selling it at an average price, and you are selling it at what below average quality because you are enjoying economies of scale, because you're enjoying economies of scope, and because you're efficient in your operation, of course, you will gain competitive advantage over your competitors. And this is also one of the strategies that Bowman proposed that this combination of price and quality can also be employed, and then we will gain competitive advantage over our competitors. Right, let's plot the third one, which is the hybrid. I mean, I think after this, the slide, because I'm doing the explanations on the slide here, let's plot onto our x-axis. X-axis A. Looks like these people too, they are, hey, Charlie, these people, they are, hey, because you can see that these people, they are even, so you see, if we plot it down, it is still what? Below average price. And let's see the perceived quality. You see, this is the average quality. And so they are producing what? Above average. Above average. So this is also a strategy where now you produce at what? An above average quality. Above average quality. But you sell it at what? Below average price. You see, this when we plotted it down, KVA. So you are selling it at what? Below average price. But the quality you are producing is what? Above average. Does this really happen? Oh, yes, it happens. Now you notice that there are certain markets that the consumers, yeah, they don't have money like that. But they too, they don't want a below average quality. So if as a strategic manager, you notice that for this segment of the market, they don't want a below average product, but they are also price sensitive. They don't want to buy it at what? An above average price. Then let's produce an above average quality product for them, but sell it at what? Sell it at what? A below average what? Price. And what do you think will happen? A lot of people will jump onto them because they are producing product at what? An above average price. So you see, even those buying from the point two low cost people, because the low cost, the quality was what? Average quality. And then below average price. Now you have a particular competitor who is now producing at an above average quality and but selling at what? A below average price. So you know, say even those who were buying from the point two people will now rush here. So now you see, if you choose this strategy, because it looks lucrative, it looks cheaper, it looks nice, you are getting high quality product, but at a lower price, a lot of people will jump, or a lot of customers will jump towards this competitor. So you see that their market share will increase. So Bowman is saying that this is also a strategy that an entity can employ to gain competitive advantage over its competitors. And you can see it clearly that indeed it will cause a competitor superiority in the industry. All right, let's look at the point four. Now let's plot it on the x-axis. You notice that if we plot it on the x-axis, if you plot it on the x-axis, it will come and then it will be what? An average price, right? An average price. Let's plot on the y-axis as well. Ooh, above average quality. Now, this is the proper differentiation. This is the proper differentiation. Why? You see, for this one, they are producing a differentiated product. When we say differentiated product, as I explained earlier, a unique product. They are producing a unique value proposition. You see, the quality is at the very top. See, the quality is at the very top, top-notch quality. So differentiated product. So, like if it's the iPhone, the camera is the sharpest in the industry. That is a differentiated product. So, if it is the iPhone, you notice that the internet connectivity, it is the fastest. So that is what a differentiated product. A lot of people are producing, but they are producing at what the topmost quality, which makes it what differentiation or differentiated. Perhaps if it is a toothpaste, we'll say what Pepsodent or Colgate. If it is a powder, so perhaps we'll say Omo. You get it? So you see, they are producing at what a very high quality, and because they are producing at a product that is unique, they can sell it at what an average price, or even what above average price, or even what above average price, and that is what differentiation. Now, the last strategy, according to Bowman, which when you employ, you can succeed, is what he called the focused differentiation. Focused differentiation. Now, focused differentiation is where you target a particular segment of the market who are perhaps underserved, not served, neglected, okay? And then you tailor the product to serve them. So let's plot it first of all. To the x-axis, you notice that it is at what? Above average price. See, above average price. Above average price. And then here you go. Also what? Above average quality. You notice above average quality. So focus differentiation basically means that you identify a particular segment of the market, and then you tailor the product to meet their unique needs. Now, let's take an example like uh, you look at the Ghanaian market, and then you produce chicken for men over 40 years, which can prevent prostate cancer. Chicken for men over 40 years, which can prevent prostate cancer. Now, you notice that you have a focused segment of the market, which is what? Men over 40 years. And you are tailoring the product. It is the chicken, but you are doing some unique, adding some uniqueness to the chicken that it will prevent prostate cancer. So you notice that a lot of men over 40 years will buy this product. And because you are tailoring it to meet their unique need, because I'm not sure any man would want to have a prostate cancer. So if there's a product like that, you are able to sell it at what? A higher price. That is why they are selling it at what? An above average price. You see, they are selling at what? An above average price. And that is what? Focused differentiation. And this is what also a strategy that a combination of price and perceived quality or benefit or value that Bowman said when employed, you will gain competitive advantage over your competitors. Right. So Bowman said these five strategies are those strategies that would help an entity to gain competitive advantage over its contemporaries or competitors. Now let's come here. You see, this one he described as what the strategies that will fail in the long run. So I'll talk about them briefly. You see, point six, when you plot, so it will be what an average quality, but at what an above average price. You see, somebody is selling the same average quality at below average price. You, for instance, you are selling average quality, but you are selling at what? An above average price. Bowman is saying if you employ this strategy, you can chalk some wins, some successes in the short run, but in the long run, you fail. He said it happens when there's what? Information asymmetry, where the customers are not knowledgeable about the full information in the market. They don't know that there are these people who are also producing the same average quality but selling at lower price. Or when you are enjoying monopoly, it is only you in the market. So you see, in the short run, you enjoy, but in the long run, the customers or the consumers will know that hey, there are other competitors who are also producing the same quality, the same average quality, but selling at what below price. So you see, you'll be failing. And then in the long run, too, you were enjoying monopoly. An entity can come in, so now there's competition. And so now they will not what buy from you, but they will buy from your competitor. So my Bowman is saying, oh, if you employ this, you will fail. Look at this one, 2.7. Point 7. When we plot on the x-axis, it is also what above average price. But if you plot it here onto the quality, that plot, you plot it here, you see it is what above average price, above average price. If we plot it onto the y-axis, what are we seeing? See, below average quality. These people, they are producing a below an inferior product, but selling it at what? An above average product. So, of course, the same thing, information asymmetry, where consumers are not knowledgeable about the full information in the market and monopoly. In the short run, you can enjoy something, but in the long run, you will fail. I mean, so plot this point 8 as your assignment. So that is the reason why he described these ones as what strategies that will fail. So I mean the 2026 March diet. There was a question that asked that what price using the Bowman strategy clause, what price combination can what point on the Bowman strategy clause can Pinova employ to gain competitive advantage? You notice that they can use what focus differentiation. I'm just telling you one. They can use focus differentiation. How can they? You see, there were people who were unbanked. There were people who were not being served by the traditional banking sector. And so Penova developed what we called what the Nova Credit. And they were giving them what small loans, right? So you see, because they were not being served by the traditional banks, Penova can go and then tailor as they did and then sell to them. Now, when they are selling to them, they can charge at what? An above average interest rate. So they can charge interest rate higher than what the standard rate that the banks are charging. Why? Why? The reason is that the people are unbanked. Initially, they were not getting soft loans to support their businesses. And now you come in that you are coming to provide soft loans to them to support their small and medium businesses. But you are charging them an interest rate which is above what the traditional bank. They will be happy because I say, Omeka say, account the tree, Omeka say, in a first in Bona ye bi obi ama ye loan. This is here for ye bi na say ne bono interest na was no so mpo aye de ye beje ne saa. So you see, Pinova could what employ focus differentiation to what gain competitive advantage in the market. All right. So basically, if you look at this is broadly the whole discussion around Bowman strategic loss. We can explore the weaknesses, which is the disadvantages and the advantages of his clock as well. All right, so this is just to let you know that I have mastery over the subject matter strategy case study. Last night I taught 23 students, and the feedback from them was great. According to them, I'm able to break the content down for an enhanced understanding. Like I said, I have developed various skills, what I call the tactics, to understand all of these models with ease. Like if how I showed you how to plot and even the diagram, don't think of the diagram as something scary. Look at it as your wall clock. You draw your 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I mean, and then the plotting. It makes it very easy to remember and then draw. So this is to tell you that I have mastery over the subject, and I encourage you to join me this coming night, which begins in April, and you would never regret. You would have value for your money. I thank you very much for your attention and your time to do this with me. Thank you so much. All right. Do have a lovely night.